Welcome back to our channel. Before we dive into yet another fascinating and mysterious stories, I would like to invite you to watch, to like, and subscribe to the channel. Also activate the notification sound. Today, we explore the untold story of the forbidden book that reveals what your soul did before you were born. Stop everything you're doing just for 30 seconds. This could change how you see your entire existence. Have you ever felt like something's missing? Like there's a page torn from the book of your soul? You're not alone, and you're not imagining it. 12 centuries ago, a manuscript revealed humanity's most closely guarded secret. It was intentionally erased from history. Not by accident, but because it gives you a power many don't want you to have. The knowledge of what your soul did before you were born. And today, it resurfaces. The Codex Anima, an ancient manuscript written over 1,200 years ago by a secret order of mystics. It contains maps of the soul's journey before, during, and after life, revealing secrets that religions and governments have hidden. To maintain control, each stage reveals a piece of who you are and what you were programmed to forget. Imagine knowing why you were born into this family, this body, at this time. Understanding your greatest challenges and deepest pains as part of a larger plan. A plan chosen by you before descending into this world. We're not talking about theories. We're talking about an ancient map of the soul, guarded for centuries, passed down only to a few initiates, away from the eyes of the world. Access this knowledge, and your life will never be the same. You'll understand that nothing happens by chance. Every person who crosses your path has a reason. Every obstacle is a stepping stone to something greater. And, most importantly, you'll realize there are no victims in the universe. You are, and always have been, the architect of your journey. Recognizing this is the first step to moving out of helplessness, guilt, fear. And taking command of your existence. How many times have you looked at your life and thought, why am I here? What is the meaning of all this? Most of us go through life as if on a runaway train. Events happen, people come and go, challenges arise and fade. Everything seems out of our control. That feeling of emptiness, of lack of direction, isn't by accident. It's the side effect of forgetting who we truly are and what we came here to do. But what if I told you that before you were born, you knew exactly the reason behind every step you take? According to the forbidden book, before incarnating, your soul undergoes a profound preparation process. You, as a free consciousness, chose your parents, your physical body. The challenges you'd face, the missions you'd carry. All decided in a state of total clarity and wisdom. Without fear, without doubts, your soul knew that every experience, even the most painful ones, would be essential for your evolution. Just as gold is purified in fire, your soul knew that only through experience could it expand its light. And the most amazing part, you were not alone in this planning. You were guided by beings of light. Masters. Spiritual counselors, loving consciousnesses who helped you design the perfect life for your growth. When you understand that nothing is by chance, your vision of life changes radically. Pain is no longer punishment, it's training. Losses aren't punishments, they're opportunities to make room for something greater. Difficulties stop being burdens, they become keys to the next level of your journey. This awareness transforms suffering into power, fear into wisdom. Doubt into faith. So now, close your eyes for a moment. Ask if the answer resonates within you like an ancient whisper. If it does, you're ready to remember your soul's journey. Now, let's understand the 7 sacred stages your soul goes through before being born. According to the Codex Anima, Stage 1, the call of the universal consciousness. Many of us go through life with a silent, almost imperceptible feeling, a longing for something we can't explain, a sense that something is missing, even when everything seems right on the outside. This feeling isn't imagination. It's an echo of the first stage of the soul's journey, the call of the universal consciousness. According to the Codex Anima, everything begins when the universal consciousness, the beating heart of all existence, issues a call. This call isn't an order. It's not an imposition. It's a loving invitation, a silent music that crosses dimensions and reaches your soul, wherever it may be. When your soul hears this call, it remembers. It's time to evolve again, time to live a new experience, time to return to the sacred game of physical existence. At that moment, you as a free soul have the supreme choice to accept or not accept the call. And believe me, if you're hearing this now, it's because somewhere a long time ago, you accepted. You chose to return. You chose to live. To feel. To love. To grow. To make mistakes. To start over. Even now, incarnated, the call continues to echo. It appears in moments of silence. In the sparkle of a child's eyes, in the beauty of a sunset that makes you cry, For no reason. In that restlessness that makes you seek answers society never gave you. Recognizing the call is recognizing that you're not just a body. It's accepting that your existence has a much greater purpose than just working, paying bills, and going with the flow. When you begin to consciously listen to this call, your life changes. You start to seek more meaning in your choices. You feel the urge to align with the truth of your soul. You start to remember, even without understanding how. If this call vibrates within you now, know this: you're ready to remember what you've forgotten. Stage 2. The life review. Do you carry guilt and regrets that seem to hold you back? How many times have you caught yourself thinking, if only I had done things differently? If only I'd said what I kept inside? If only I could go back in time? Most of us live trapped by these invisible chains. Regrets from the past, guilt that paralyzes us, mistakes that seem unforgivable. And yet, deep down, we know that all of this is part of something greater. But what if I told you that even before being born, your soul had already reviewed all of this and more in a single profound experience of consciousness? According to the Codex Anima, the second stage of the soul's journey is the life review. In this stage, your soul examines past lives. Not with judgment, but with understanding. You see the ripple effects of your actions, the love you gave, the pain you caused, the lessons you learned. And those you missed. This isn't punishment. It's preparation. By reviewing your past, you understand what your soul still needs to experience, what lessons remain, what growth is required. This review shapes the blueprint for your next life. You see everything. Every choice, every word spoken in love, every silence filled with fear. You feel what others felt because of you. The joy. The pain, the confusion, the healing. You don't just watch your past. You feel it, not to punish, but to understand, to grow. You see where your soul expanded. And where it held back. You recognize the patterns, the lessons that kept returning, the fears that blocked your light, the love you were too scared to give. And then you decide. You choose the next step in your evolution, not from guilt, but from wisdom. From love. You choose the experiences that will help you heal what's incomplete. You choose the challenges that will push you to remember your strength. This isn't random. It's sacred. You're not a victim of your past. You're its author. And you hold the pen again. Stage 3. The Council of Light. You're not alone in this journey. You never were. After your life review, you meet the council, a circle of ancient, radiant beings. Some call them angels. Some call them guides. They are the ones who have walked this path long before you. Beings of compassion. Wisdom. Light. They sit with you in silence, not to judge, but to help. To remind you who you are, why you came here. They show you options, possible lives. Timelines. Bodies, paths. You feel them all at once, each one filled with potential, each one carrying different lessons. You ask, which one will help me grow most? You don't ask, which is easiest. You ask, which will wake up my soul? The council doesn't choose for you. They don't push. They guide. They illuminate. And then the choice is yours. Every time. You choose the life that will teach you love, real love, even if it means heartbreak. You choose the body that will carry your soul, even if it means pain. You choose the mission, even if you know you might forget it, because deep down, your soul trusts. It trusts that you'll remember, that you'll wake up, that you'll find your way back to the light, even in the darkest room. Stage 4. Soul contracts. Once you choose your path, you begin to write your contracts. Not with ink. But with intention. You make sacred agreements with other souls. Souls who will walk with you. Some will love you. Some will hurt you. Some will awaken you. Each one plays a role in your remembering. You agree to meet again. In classrooms, in families. In cities you've never been to. Your mother, chosen. Your father, chosen. Your lovers, your friends, your rivals, all chosen. You plan the timing. The lessons, even the heartbreak. Yes. Especially the heartbreak. Because sometimes the wound is the only way the light gets in. You also write what you need to forget. You can't enter the earth remembering everything. That would ruin the test. So you agree to forget. To sleep, until it's time to wake up again. And when you meet those key souls, you'll feel it, a strange familiarity, a deep knowing, that moment when time stops, and your soul whispers, I remember you. That's not chance. That's design. That's the contract. And it's always honored. Even if it hurts, even if it doesn't last. Stage 5. The descent. Once your soul chooses the path and the contracts are signed, the descent begins. You leave behind the light. The vastness, the knowing, and you begin to fall not down. But inward, into the dream of matter, the illusion of form. You move from being everywhere to being here. From eternal to temporary, from infinite to small. This is the moment of forgetting. You pass through the veil. You forget the counsel, the review. The plan, the light. You forget your own divinity. And you are born. Crying. Tiny. Vulnerable. But the plan remains, etched in your soul, waiting to be remembered. Every moment of confusion, a whisper from beyond the veil. Every moment of beauty, a reminder of home. You did not fall. You descended. On purpose. With purpose, even if you don't remember it yet. Stage 6. The awakening. At first, life feels random. Your childhood shapes you. Pain hardens you. Joy confuses you. You seek safety. Love. Understanding. But deep inside something stirs. A whisper. A question. Who am I really? The awakening never comes all at once. It comes in pieces. In heartbreak. In silence. In wonder. You start to feel more. Question more. Remember more. You realize the stories you were told don't hold truth anymore. You feel like you're not from here. Because you aren't, not fully. Your awakening is the soul's alarm clock. And once it rings, you can't go back to sleep. You start seeking the truth. Not out there, but in here. Inside. And one day you feel it. A resonance. A knowing. A memory. And suddenly, things start to make sense. Not logically. But soul deep. You are remembering who you were before the forgetting. And every step forward is a step back home. Stage 7. The return to purpose. This is the moment when the soul begins to remember its mission. You've gone through the call. The review. The counsel. The contracts. The descent. The awakening. Now you are ready. To return to purpose. Not just any purpose. Your soul's specific reason for coming here. It's not always a job. It's not a title. It's not fame, followers, or a bank balance. It's deeper, more sacred. Your purpose is encoded in your being. It lives in your joy. In the pain you've overcome. In the things you can't ignore. In the healing you bring just by being you. You return to purpose when you stop living for the outside world and start living from the inside out. You return to purpose when your soul leads, not your fear, not your past, not the expectations of others, but your soul, that voice inside that says, this is why you're here. That whisper that never leaves you alone. You don't need to go searching for purpose. You remember it. You align with it. You live it. And every time you do, you become the light you came to bring. And here's the truth. The secret that was never supposed to reach you. You were never meant to feel powerless. You were never meant to feel lost. You were never meant to forget who you are forever. The forgetting was only temporary. Part of the game, a necessary shadow. So that you could remember. Because remembering your light in the middle of the dark, that's mastery. That's why the Codex Anima was hidden. Because when you remember, you become impossible to control. You stop being afraid. You stop needing permission. You stop asking if you're good enough. You know that you are divine, that you are eternal, that you are loved. In human form. You stop surviving, and you start creating from the soul. From the blueprint you chose before time. You become unstoppable. Not because life becomes easy, but because you become aligned. Aligned with your soul's truth, with your mission. With your light. Everything in your life has been a clue, a breadcrumb. A message from your soul, that childhood pain. It cracked open your heart. So you'd understand others. That heartbreak, it showed you your worth. So you'd stop settling for less. That failure, it humbled you. So you let go of ego and let your soul lead. You thought life was falling apart, was falling into place. Your life isn't a mistake. Your timing isn't off. You're exactly where you're meant to be. Even now, especially now, because now you're remembering, not with your mind, but with your being. You're remembering that the soul never forgets. It only waits. Patiently. Lovingly. Until you're ready. And if you're still watching this, you're ready. Every tear you've cried was sacred. Every breath you've taken was planned. Every soul you've met was agreed upon. And every time you wondered, what's the point? The point was this: to remember. To love. To expand. To become light and form. And walk the earth awake. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to rush. You just need to say yes. Yes to the remembering. Yes to the mission. Yes to you. Because this life, it's yours. You chose it. You crafted it. You prepared for it. And you are more ready than you know. There is no punishment here. Only refinement. No mistakes. Only redirection. No enemies. Only soul partners in disguise. No loss. Only transition. You are safe. You are guided. You are loved. Always. So take a deep breath. Feel that quiet knowing, That's your soul, whispering. You're waking up. That's the plan. It always was. You are the light remembering itself. You are the divine, pretending to be human just long enough to grow. And now, it's time to rise. To walk your path. To speak your truth. To love fully. To live deeply. To heal what you came here to heal. And shine in the exact way only you can shine. Because the world doesn't need another copy. It needs you. The real you. The ancient you. The awakened you. So now that you know, what will you do with this remembering? Let's go back. Back to the first moment they call. Do you remember when you were a child and you stared out the window? Not at anything but beyond it. That feeling of homesickness for a place you couldn't name. That wasn't your imagination. That was your soul, remembering the call. It's not a voice you hear with ears. It's a feeling you carry. Like a note in a forgotten melody. It shows up in the quiet. In the ache behind your ambition. In the pause after you laugh. When something still feels missing. The call is gentle, but persistent. It follows you through life. Not to haunt you, but to remind you that there's more, and you came for it. Every time you've whispered, there has to be more than this. That's the call. Every time you've cried for no reason, longed for something you can't name, that's the call. And guess what? The call never stops, because your soul will never give up on you, even when you give up on yourself. You can ignore it, distract yourself, but you'll never silence it. It waits until you're ready to listen. And if you're hearing this now, that means you're ready. Then comes the life review. Not just at death, but every time your soul prepares to return. You relive it all. The way you made someone smile when they felt invisible. The moments you betrayed your own truth to please others. You feel both the love and the pain. You watch how one decision changed another soul's life. You see that nothing was small. That every accent ripples through the fabric of reality. You don't blame yourself. You understand yourself. You see where you were afraid. Where you didn't trust love. Where you forgot your light. And then you forgive. Not just others, but yourself. You forgive the times you hid. The times you held back. The times you chose safety over soul. And from that place of total clarity you say, this time I'm ready. The council doesn't look like anything from earth, but somehow you recognize them. They don't speak, but you hear them. They don't touch you, but you feel held. Imagine a love so complete sees every part of you and loves you more, not less. That's what the council is. They don't fix you, because you were never broken. They help you remember. They hold up the mirror, and you see who you really are. Not your roles, not your pain, your essence. The light that's always been there. And with them, you make the map. You choose the details. Yes, the hard ones too. You say, I want to learn forgiveness. So they show you a path of betrayal. You say, I want to embody unconditional love. So they show you a life where love is tested again and again. Not to punish you. To prepare you. Because the soul doesn't grow through ease. It expands through experience. And then the contracts. This is the part most forget, but it explains everything. You meet with souls you've known forever. You say, will you be the one who leaves me so I can learn to stand? Another soul says, I'll be your child who teaches you patience. Another says, I'll be the stranger who shows you kindness when you've lost hope. Even the ones who hurt you, especially them, they agreed to play that part. So you could learn, grow, wake up. This doesn't excuse cruelty. It reveals purpose behind pain. You're not a victim of life. You're a co-creator of your path. Every wound was written with love. Not because you deserve pain, but because your soul chose power. And power is remembered through overcoming. The descent is the hardest part. You move from infinite to confined, from all-knowing to forgetting. You squeeze into time, into density, into separation. But the soul never panics. Because it remembers the plan. You forget everything and still move forward. Because deep down, your soul knows it will wake up again. And it will. Then, the awakening begins. Sometimes it starts with a breakdown, a loss. An illness, a betrayal. Sometimes it starts with wonder. A book that cracks something open. A dream you can't explain. A feeling that won't let go. It doesn't matter how it begins, only that it does. Because when it starts, nothing makes sense, and everything makes sense. You lose your appetite for fake things. You crave truth. Depth. Realness. You feel called to something higher. But you can't explain it, and yet you know. You start remembering who you were before the forgetting, and you don't go back. Because once you wake up, you can't sleepwalk through life again. It's painful, and beautiful, and worth it, because your soul, it came for this. You've remembered the call. You felt the review. You've met the council. signed the contracts to send it into form. You've awakened. And now you remember. Not just with your mind, but with your being. You are not just a human having a spiritual experience. You are a divine soul having a human one. And that makes all the difference. You didn't come here to be perfect. You came here to be real. To walk through fire and still carry light. To fall and rise again. Not because you failed, but because every rise is a return to truth. You came to love with an open heart, even when the world gives you 1,000 reasons not to. You came to see the divine in others, especially when they forget it in themselves. You came to heal. To remember. To awaken the world simply by being you. That's not small, that's cosmic. And your soul has been preparing for this moment across lifetimes. Not to just learn love, but to become loved. So now, take a deep breath. Right now, breathe in your truth. Breathe out the stories you were taught to believe about your limits. Feel what's real, that ache, that pull, that electric feeling in your chest. That's your soul saying, I'm still here. I've always been here. And I'm ready. Ready to live without hiding. To speak without shrinking. To shine without apology. Not in arrogance, but in remembrance. Because when you walk in your light, you light the path for others. You become the permission for them to remember. And together, we don't just awaken ourselves. We awaken the earth. This is how the new world is born. Not through noise, but through knowing. Through each soul who says, I remember who I am. I am not broken. I am not forgotten. I am not alone. I am light. I am divine. I am home. So now, beloved soul, it's your turn. To live like you plan to live. To love like you meant to love. To rise like your soul always knew you would. The story was never lost. It was just waiting for you. And now that you've remembered, let everything change. Because this is not the end. It's the return. Welcome back. Before this video ends, take this moment. Close your eyes if it's safe. Place your hand on your heart. Feel it. That's not just a heartbeat. That's a drum echoing through dimensions. That's your soul reminding you it's still listening. You are not watching this by accident. This moment was part of your remembering. There are no coincidences here. You've answered the call. You've stepped back onto your path. And you don't have to do it alone, right now. Around the world, thousands of souls are waking up. Just like you. Remembering. Aligning. Returning. We are scattered across nations, languages, and lifetimes. But we are one light, one family, one remembrance. So, when the noise gets loud again, when life pulls you back into forgetfulness, come back to this moment. To your breath. To your truth. To your knowing. You are not the name you were given. You are not the pain you've endured. You are not the doubts that rise in the dark. You are the one who remembers. And because of that, you are the one who leads. Lead with your presence. Lead with your love. Lead by becoming so unapologetically you. The world has no choice but to wake up to. As we close, let these words live in your body. I am not here by accident. I chose this life. I chose this path. I chose this healing. I am not a victim. I am a soul in motion. I forgive my forgetting. I honor my remembering. I walk now as one who knows. Not everything. But enough. Enough to begin again. Enough to walk in faith. Enough to shine where it's dark. And to love, even when it hurts. I am light. I am soul. I am home. And it begins now. Welcome back, soul. It's time. If this video stirred something in your heart, drop A in the comments so I know you're with me. Tell me, what do you think? Let's talk about it below. And if you want more hidden revelations from scripture like this, hit that like button. Subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And share this with someone who's ready to go deeper. This channel is a place for revelation, not just religion. You belong here, and I'll see you in the next one.